Gay man whose entire brand is opposition to cancel culture cancels Disney for promoting the homosexual lifestyle. This man will tie his own news and thank the executioner. Thrilling to watch, honestly. Just cancel Disney Plus. The only way to defeat these people is to stop playing along with them. Had it for when our nieces and nephews are here. Now they can go outside and play with a stick or something. Wait, so Dave Rubin is canceling Disney because he doesn't like that Disney recognizes or Disney will have like gay representation? What? God, what a terrible uncle, by the way. Oh my God. He's like, yeah, go play with a stick. Tucker Carlson has a Disney take. Let's go, dude. We're back, boys. We're back. Republicans are like, all right, this Ukraine stuff is too much. America is like too united on the Ukraine shit. Okay, we gotta spice it up. Republicans literally were like, America's too united. We don't like that. And Democrats were like, oh, thank God, we don't have to do anything. Oh, we have to fuck shit up. It just looks like we are too united right now. Let's get mad at Disney or something. Let's hear what Tucker had to say about the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida. For those of you who don't know, the short and sweet of it is of the Don't Say Gay bill is that Republicans wanted to come up with a new thing to get mad at, and they basically decided the thing that we can get mad at is even the mention of homosexuality between first grade and third grade. You should just not do it, okay? You should just never mention it. If someone asks you, like, you know, teacher, why do you have a husband? You're like not allowed to comment on it. You just can't do that. You can get fired if you do that. That's the short and sweet of it, okay? And of course, the way that they did that, obviously, is like, it's very deliberately written in a way where basically they want to make the other side opposing it look crazy. Like, oh, they're grooming the children into being gay. They're grooming the children into being gay. They're grooming the children into being trans. Like, that's basically the fucking take that they wanted to arrive at, and making it seem as though like there was some kind of sex ed occurring for kindergarteners, and that all matter of sex ed basically is grooming children into LGBT lifestyle, and that kids could become LGBT by choice and not because they are LGBT, which is the, of course, fundamental difference in opinion between conservatives who just refuse to recognize reality and just people living in the real world who understand that it's not a choice but a matter of your existence. This is precisely why I make fun of like conservative efforts to cut back on, or conservative efforts to like fucking destroy gay characters, claiming that like even the mere mention or the showcasing of like homosexuality will lead to people becoming gay. Don't worry if that's the case. If that's how sexuality works, then you should never be worried, considering the reality that there is like for every one gay character, there's like a million straight ones. So they'll just fucking see the straight characters and get back to the straight side. So let's hear it.
Their main, quote, goal as a company is now to teach kindergartners in Florida that they can, in fact, change their gender just by wishing it so. It makes you wonder if kids in Florida can consent to chemical castration with no parental involvement. If that can be true, what exactly can't they consent to once we set that standard? Disney.
What the fuck, Tucker? Oh my God, I can't believe Tucker Carlson came out in support of trans rights only because he thinks like that means he can do pedophilia. That's weird. Classic libertarian brain at work here. He thinks that is how that works, but it doesn't, unfortunately for Tucker, because, one is not damaging to the child. As a matter of fact, it's harm reduction for child, specifically a trans child, if they're able to get early on, if they're able to get hormone blockers, puberty blockers. The other, on the other hand, is just incredibly damaging. Pedophilia to the child is the child's development. So sorry, Tucker, it's not going to happen like that. Okay. Also, no such thing, no such castration, no such chemical castration occurs. What a deeply, deeply disgusting way of describing a process that does not occur at all. Nice try, Tucker. You couldn't let that slide. You fucking pedophile piece of shit. You libertarian motherfucker.
Disney didn't say, but maybe there's another agenda here. Nor did they explain their fixation on the sexuality of children. But it's worth pointing out that...
fun fact, once again, Tucker Carlson has quite literally defended pedophiles in the past. White supremacist pedophiles, of course, and have said it's not a big deal when white people do it. The Tucker Carlson thing I'm talking about is 100% true.
Here, this is not a mere cultural difference. No 13-year-old child can meaningfully consent to marry. In the United States,
for the record, I agree. I agree with that.
If an adult has sex with a middle schooler, we call it rape. But when government...
So he said this, and then he turned around and he said, when defending Warren Jeffs, he literally said...
He's not in prison for that. Warren Jeffs didn't marry underage girls. No, he's in prison for facilitation of child rape.
Whatever the hell that means.
That means
he's in prison because he's weird and unpopular, and he has a different lifestyle that other people find creepy.
No, he's an
wow. Cult leader, white supremacist cult leader who conducted multiple child marriages. That's cool. By the way, he also personally did marry underage girls as well, but he also married them in his own cult to other adults. But here it is. I mean, here's Tucker Carlson quite literally defending it. Hasan, you're being lifestylist. Yeah, I am. So remember, that's Tucker Carlson's position. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about what is he saying? Chemical castration?
Disney employees were just busted in a major human trafficking sting, including one employee who allegedly sent sexually explicit text to a detective posing as a 14-year-old.
Wait, what?
Their main, quote, goal as a company is now to teach kindergartens in Florida that they can, in fact...
Dude, the irony here is that, like, he is always, while maintaining the position that I just showed you, he then also will literally fucking say, like, random employees are basically, like, responsible for, like, everything that the company is doing. I don't even know who the fucking employees are. I never know who these, like... I never know what the details of stories like this are, and I'm certainly not going to find out from watching Tucker Carlson because he is here to present a perspective. And that perspective is that basically having a conversation even about like the existence of LGBT members in society is the same as grooming kids to do sex trafficking. Like that's literally what his argument is here. Let's make no mistake. That's precisely what he's trying to say. And that is also deeply homophobic. It's a super old school homophobic take too, to be like, oh yeah, every gay person is like grooming children by being gay around children. That's like, you're grooming them. It's just super old school fucking homophobic bullshit. Let's hear the whole clip now. Actually, let's watch the whole one.
Groups like the HRC have decided to push this propaganda as hard as they possibly can. And they don't care what you think because it's not about democracy. It's not about...
Yeah, they've just replaced gay with trans, and some dumb motherfuckers, specifically in the gay community, okay, specifically the L's and the G's, unironically jumped on that shit so quick, it was fucking mind-boggling. I'm like, dude, are you stupid? Like, this is literally what they said about you 10 years ago, you dumb fuck. Why are you repeating the same idiotic fucking propaganda?
Disney, for example, is a major donor to the HRC and has been pretty explicit about this point. Quote, Florida's HB 1557, also known as the Don't Say Gay bill, should never have passed and should never have been signed into law. Disney said in an official statement. This is the company you also hand your kids over to. Woo, not creepy. Quote, our goal as a company is for this law to be repealed by the legislature or struck down in the courts. So let's just think about this for a minute. Here you have a law passed in a democratically elected state legislature, signed by a democratically elected governor, supported by the majority of Florida voters, but it must be struck down because the oligarchs at the mouse company don't like it. Oh. So shouldn't you get back to making kids' movies propagandizing for China? Shouldn't you get back to wrecking the state of Florida with your pollutants, you environmental criminals? Yeah, well, they've got other business. And their main, quote, goal as a...
I'm all in favor of shitting on Disney, by the way. It's awesome when, you know, the powerhouse of Disney that has dominated like California and Florida politics for so many fucking years, that is almost single-handedly responsible for the most fucked up patent laws that we have internationally even. It's awesome to shit on Disney. But you found the one instance where like Disney's not in the wrong and is, as a matter of fact, literally fucking doing it for just pandering reasons. And you're just shitting on that. It's crazy. Crazy to me.
Company is now to teach kindergartens in Florida that they can, in fact, change their gender just by wishing it so. It makes you wonder if kids in Florida can consent to chemical castration with no parental involvement. If that can be true, what exactly can't they consent to once we set that standard? Disney didn't say, but maybe there's another agenda here. Nor did they explain their fixation.
By the way, the irony, of course, is that Disney directly, as a consequence of being based in Florida, has literally funded every politician to a certain degree, has funded every politician that has written that law, okay? Straight up. There is no way that Disney did not beef up the Republican Party's defenses here. They literally fund both sides. They do. That's what every gigantic mega corporation does. They completely dominate Florida. Kind of weird that, you know, now they're coming out and being like, oh man, this is really fucked up. Ooh, don't say gay bill? What? That's crazy. We say gay here.
On the sexuality of children. But it's worth pointing out that 4 Disney employees were just busted in a major human trafficking sting, including one employee who allegedly sent sexually explicit text to a detective posing as a 14-year-old. That bust occurred, as you may have guessed by now, in the state of Florida.
I mean, I do get that's the least shocking thing is that a pedophile was busted in Florida. Let's be real, okay? I mean, that's kind of what the state is there for. It's for like cryptocurrency, and pedophilia often goes hand in hand, you know? Let's hear it from the mouth of one of the people, okay? Here it is. After hours of denying his bill singled out gays, Senator Dennis Baxley admitted the so-called Don't Say Gay bill was drafted because he was personally concerned so many kids today identify as gay and see themselves as celebrities.
I think this is the crux of the question that everyone's been trying to ask all day. I think I may have a way to get an answer.
This isn't Dennis Baxley. This is Tina Polsky, I think.
This is in response to something you said. There are a lot of mature subjects that should not be discussed in the K through 3rd grade. Senator Diaz mentioned suicide, potential suicide of a parent, and how that would be addressed. Of course, that should not be discussed. So why is that not prohibited? Why is drug use not prohibited? The issue here is, why is gender identity and sexual orientation specifically prohibited when there are so many other very difficult, mature subjects that are not exempted in this law?
It's an endless list of things that you could list as far as challenges to young people. We are in a trending posture.
For the record, classic conservative tactic, making it seem as though like there is gay propaganda. One, making it seem as though like there is such a thing where like the mere mention of homosexuality will turn a child into a homosexual. Okay, it is a choice. That's wrong. So that's like the core premise of this. Okay, so let's start there. 2, the idea that like gay propaganda as a consequence of the gay agenda is being disseminated in our schools is completely wrong. That's not a real thing. And this bill doesn't even address that. Even if it was a real thing, this bill's not even addressing that. This bill simply is saying like, you cannot mention this. K through 3rd grade, you cannot even mention anything about homosexuality at all. So that's number 2. And lastly, the ultimate goal for conservatives, and this is like they're basically admitting this, the ultimate goal for conservatives was to get Democrats to push back against this and say, no, you should say gay, you should say gay, you should say gay. So that like to the Normans in the world, okay, out and about that don't pay attention to this stuff, they're going to be like, what the fuck's going on? What are the liberals like? They're going crazy. They just want to like say they want to make our kids homosexuals or whatever. Like what the fuck's happening? Because Normans also don't understand this because it's a reactionary culture. So if you haven't put a lot of thought into this, you think in your mind, like all the videos and all the footage that's going to be cut out of this is a bunch of fucking blue-haired people screaming, no, you should say gay all the time to children. Most people are going to turn around and be like, what the fuck? That's weird. And that is precisely the reason why they did this. And it is relatively successful. It's this. Florida high school walking out chanting.
I still had to watch out today because of the Don't Say Gay.
So like this is sick, right? I mean, this is cool, but like in our eyes this is cool, but in the eyes of like conservatives, reactionaries, people that like don't live or have never really talked about this, they think like this is bullshit. This is crazy.
And this is how it went.
Like conservative voters look at this and go, "Oh, dude, the kids are crazy. They're crazy. They're already been propagandized. They've already been propagandized into believing homosexuality, brother."
I mean, my son's a psychiatrist, and I said, why is everybody now all about coming out when you're in school? And there really is a dynamic of...
I don't know, maybe because it's a part of their fucking existence, and finally now people aren't like bullying you mercilessly into suicide when you actually do end up coming out. I mean, and that people are younger generations are by and large a little bit more tolerant to the LGBT community. That's one reason, I think. Or maybe it's because they're saying homosexuals on the television and it's making the kids gay. They see that Euphoria. They see that show. Unacceptable. We already gave up on miscegenation. I mean, these guys want to go back to a fucking time when, like, they just had to suck cock in bathrooms secretly, okay? Which, of course, they also do. So that's literally the reason why they're like, they're fine. You know what I mean? And they're kids, if they're gay, they're going to be all right to a certain degree. And that's the point of the... You know what? Actually, I realized People like Lindsey Graham, I think. They like the thrill of what is it? Cruising. They like the thrill of sucking cock secretly. Like the shame of it all motivates them. So they're like, we need to keep this shit on the low, okay? We need to keep making sure homosexuality is seen as a sin. So what would be a politically correct answer for being LGBTQ? You'd tell a first or third grader. The funny thing is, it's probably so irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. Like, it's not a real thing. That's the number one thing, is that like teachers aren't going around being like, you should be a homosexual. You should be a homosexual. You should be trans. You should be trans. Like, that's not how it works. The only instance where it could potentially fucking happen is if a kid asks a question to a teacher between kindergarten and third grade, where they're like, you know, why does this kid have two dads? And then the teacher says, oh, because they're gay. Men and men can love one another like men and women can. Like, that's totally normal. So that's basically it. You know what I mean? That's it. That's literally it. There's no situation in which there is a propaganda operation to like fucking transify the youth. You know what I mean? It's just, that's it. Which is precisely why this shit is like completely fabricated to maximize the outrage.
Are genuine type of experiences, and how many of them are just kids trying on different kinds of things they hear about and different kinds of identities and experimenting. That's what kids do, you know. Maybe they're in this club or they're in that club or they're on.
And that's wrong. He's like, and that's unacceptable. You can't do that.
On all these different identities of life,
1 and 1/2
trying to see
years.
where they fit
Crazy.
in. And I said, am I crazy or what? All of a sudden, we're having all these issues come up about this topic of their sexuality and gender. And I said,
people must
I
be
understand
trans
why
now.
that's such a big wave right now. And he said,
dude, you guys don't understand. He's just upset at the trenders, okay? He's saying like I love thinking about like hardened Republicans as mega rad libs, you know what I mean? Like over the top woke scold rad libs on Twitter or some shit. No, these kids, they're chasers. These kids, they're seeing trans women, and then they're thinking, you know, they want it. They're fetishizing and otherizing trans women and becoming chasers. They should actually simply love all women, including trans women, but they're chasing. Kids these days, they're becoming selfish tops.
Dad, all the professionals don't agree, but in fact, it's a real trend of change. I just read an article this week. We're trying to all figure out why this is happening. Some of it is, I'm sure, cultural shift of what's accepted and
why is this happening?
Kind of thing. But I know some of it is just the confusion that kids go. You know, particularly when you get to middle school and high school, there's a lot of whitewater. You don't get it right. You just get them through it. It's a maturation of them growing, and things are happening for them. So my question is simply, are we encouraging this or illuminating it by putting emphasis on it, or are we helping something? And I think
Let's go, Brandon.
75% of people that I see, polled on this bill, they agree with me that there's something wrong with how we're emphasizing this, and that all of a sudden, overnight, they're a celebrity when they felt like they were nobody. And so,
oh my God, dude, the tactics are the same, dude. A part of me, obviously, and this is because I'm a fucking, dirty, disgusting little breeder cishet, but a part of me is like, I almost, like, there's so much vindication here. I've been saying this to, like, motherfuckers that are gay but transphobic for so long that, like, they are going to move back to gay issues immediately as soon as they're like, all right, we're done. We've already exhausted the trans shit. Like, they're already done. So now we're just gonna move back to the gays and the elves, okay? The lesbians and the gays, the bis. We're just gonna move back to that because that's how regression works, right? And the same exact arguments that they use towards trans people, they use towards gay people. And they're using it again towards gay people now. Oh, they're doing it for the trend. They're doing it for attention. And it's actually really fucked up. And ultimately, it comes from a place of not accepting it. And it ultimately comes from a place of thinking that, like, it's a choice. And the other part of it is that, like, even if it's a fucking choice, who cares? Another thing that we never really talk about, like, even if it was literally a choice, it still would not matter. You know what I mean? Okay, who cares? Why do you care? You fucking weirdo. It's not, but even if it was, it's like, why would you care? We're back. We're back at this now. Yes. He's mad that the kids are queer baiting. Dude, exactly. He's like, these kids, they're not gay. They weren't throwing the brick at Stonewall like I was. They're out here queer baiting. That's right. Homosexuality is not just simply a lifestyle choice that you can put on like a prom dress. You didn't earn it. Them dang kids on TikTok looking good, acting like they actually are into one another. It's fucked up. I hate it. Unacceptable.
I don't know how all those parts play, but I know parents are very concerned about the departure from the core belief systems and values so I think they have a seat at the table, and I think telling them they don't have a seat at the table in this decision and this process with kids is a very, very big mistake.
Dude, letting parents have a seat at the table in the decision-making process in schooling is one of the most idiotic fucking ideas that you could put forward. Have you seen parents? Do you know how fucking stupid our parents are? Like, no disrespect. Like, I love my parents. I think they're brilliant. That's different, but I've seen other people's parents at least. I mean, look, mine are fucking, they're college professors, so it was a little bit different. I'm the idiot in my family. They're a little bit smarter. But like, I've seen other people's parents, dude. I don't think they should have a say in what the fuck goes on in school. It's like they don't understand chemistry. Do you want them to dictate that? Why are we teaching children chemistry? I saw a television show where a chemist made methamphetamine. That's right. Is that what you want? You want our children to make bathtub meth after learning chemistry in our classrooms? Get the fuck out of here. Now that I said that, it's probably what's going to happen. Like, I can't wait for the fucking they do that for CRT already, like social sciences. They want to have a say on social sciences and like how history is educated and taught in schools. It's like, come the fuck on, dude. You're a dumbass, dude. You need CRT. Oh, fuck. Now they're going to do it for chemistry and shit. They're going to be like, we need to halt the STEM. We need to stop these sciences from being taught to our children. Fucking bullshit.
I don't think I'm too much tradition here about. I know, but he just said some really important things. So basically what I heard you say, just to confirm, that there seems to be a big uptick in the number of children who are coming out as gay or experimenting, and therefore we need to not discuss it in the younger grades. Is that correct?
Those are the reminiscing of a father and a grandfather, trying to figure out what makes kids.
Oh, God. They're all doing this, like, bitch shit, dude. They're such libtards, bro. Everyone does this thing now where it's like, it's my lived experience, Sweaty. Shut your fucking bald ass up, dude. Shut the fuck up, you bitch. I don't give a fuck what your lived experience is, unless you're talking about sucking dick in a bathroom because you were terrified that someone was gonna find out that you're a homosexual, okay? I don't give a fuck. What do you mean your lived experience? What kind of fucking lived experience do you have as a grandpa? God damn, dude. Holy shit. It just makes me so mad where people are like, actually, I'm simply talking about this from my lived experience. Sweaty, you're doing a Bodies in Spaces right now. How about you see yourself out of the conversation that we're having about old bigoted racist fucks who think that children should not learn about being gay. That's my lived experience in this situation. That's simply what I'm doing. I'm giving my lived experience. Like, this is no different than the fucking DSA meeting, the clapping and the fucking point of privilege shit that you see at a DSA meeting. Now Republicans do it too, but they do it for the bigotry, which is pretty funny. The DSA meeting video that immediately comes to mind of people being like, point of privilege, there's some people with autism here, and like, they're getting fucking, I don't know, really excited when you clap, blah, blah, blah. Like, they're doing that, but for bigotry. They're like, point of privilege here, sir. I would like to express my bigotry and my racism in this situation. What the fuck, dude? What is happening? So yeah, the Don't Say Gay bill, fucking bullshit, ridiculous, but also incredibly effective propaganda. So here we are.